If you're thinking about moving to DC, do not move here unless you can handle these 10 things. But let me say this clearly before we start. This is not a hate video, this is not a complaint video, and this is definitely not me telling you to never move here. This is just a warning video because Washington, DC is one of those cities where it looks incredible from the outside. It sounds amazing when people talk about it, and then it quietly overwhelms people when they start to live here. People talk about the monuments, the opportunities, the culture, the power, the networking, which is really good. But nobody talks about what it actually feels like day to day. And that's why people move here excited. And then 6 months later, they're burnt out, broke, lonely, or already planning their exit. So if you're thinking about moving to DC, or just move here, or if you already live here and you've had that thought, why does this feel harder than I expected? This video is designated for you. Because I'm going to walk you through the 10 things you absolutely need to be able to handle if you're going to live in DC long term. I'm not talking about surface level stuff. I'm talking about the emotional realities, the social dynamics, the psychological pressure that no one warned you about. And here's the deal. If you watch this entire video and still think, yeah, I can handle all that, then DC might be one of the best cities you'll ever live in. But even if one of these things is a deal breaker, you'll save yourself a lot of stress and disappointment by knowing it now. But before we start, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for all my future videos. All right, let's start with number 1. Everyone in DC is networking, even when they say they're not. This hits people almost immediately, like a punch in the face. In DC, most conversations are a soft interview. Not in a fake or evil way, it's just cultural, it's just how we are. And you'll notice it your first week. You'll go to a happy hour, a birthday party, a casual brunch, or a rooftop gathering. And by the way, brunch in the city? But within the first minute, someone's gonna ask you, so what do you do? Not where you're from, not what you're into, not how do you like the city so far? What do you do? And the energy of your conversation subtly changes based on your answer. This isn't always intentional, it's just the ecosystem. DC tracks ambitious people, policy people, lawyers, consultants, government workers, and even nonprofit professionals. So naturally work becomes social currency. But here's the part people don't expect. You don't really get to opt out of this. Even if you don't care about status, even if you just want to be friends, even if you hate talking about work, you're still surrounded by it. And if you're someone who wants to come relax, connect, and exist without being evaluated, this can feel exhausting very quickly. And you'll start to notice people mentally categorize you, conversations shifting, interest level changing. If that dynamic drained you, in DC, it'll wear you down fast. Now, number 2 builds directly on this. In DC, your job isn't just what you do, it's who you are. People don't just work somewhere, they identify with it. Oh, I work for Deloitte. I work on the Hill. I'm in state, I'm in defense, I'm in this and that. Those labels carry weight, and whether you want them to or not, they shape how people perceive you. This becomes a real issue if you're between jobs, switching careers, freelancing, self-employed, or just don't have a clean title. People just don't know where to place you. And when people don't know where to place you, they're often going to pull back. And again, it's not aggressive, it's subtly. Shorter conversations, less follow-up, less curiosity. And not because you're not interesting, but because you don't fit neatly into people's mental filing system. So if you value identity outside of work or in a transitional phase in life, the city can feel unwelcoming unless you're very grounded in who you are. Now let's talk about money, specifically rent and home values, because this is where expectations really break. People know DC is expensive, but they don't feel it until they're here. You start house hunting or apartment hunting optimistic. This budget should be fine. I don't need much space. I'll just live a little outside of the city. Then the reality hits. Tiny homes, thin walls, old buildings, minimal storage, and the price is still pretty high. You're not paying for luxury. You're paying for proximity. Proximity to jobs, proximity to transit, proximity to opportunity. If you want space, you commute longer. If you want convenience, you downsize your life. That trade-off is unavoidable, and if financial pressure stresses you out, it'll bleed into everything else. DC is not forgetting financially, especially early on. Now let's talk about something people massively underestimate, the summers. DC, we have all 4 seasons, but the summers are brutal, not hot, oppressive. The humidity doesn't just make you sweat, it drains your energy. You step outside and immediately feel tired. your clothes stick, your patience shortens. And this lasts for months. June through September is just a test of endurance here in DC. If weather affects your mood, this matters more than you think. And you just can't push through humidity. It compounds work stress, commute stress, and social exhaustion. Now, number 5, politics. Politics are not optional here. Even if you don't work in politics, even if you don't follow politics, even if you're sick of politics, they'll follow you. This is the political hub of the world. Politics show up at dinners, on dates, at work events, in casual conversations, often with the assumption that you care, that you're informed, and that you actually have an opinion. Neutrally, it can feel uncomfortable here. You don't have to agree with everyone, but you do need emotional resilience to be around consistent political energy without letting it consume you. Now, this next one, it's tough, but important. Some social connections in DC are transactional, unfortunately. Not everyone, but enough people that you'll notice. Some relationships are built on access, relevance, or usefulness. You'll feel it when people start disappearing after changing careers, when invitations stop, or when conversations feel one-sided. If you're coming from a city where friendships are slower and deeper, this can really hurt. You have to intentionally seek community here. It exists, but not automatic, especially in dating. Next, traffic. DC traffic will test your character. A drive that should take 15 minutes can take 50. No accidents, no warning, just chaos. Add aggressive drivers, confusing roads. DC is really confusing, by the way. This is where the president lives, so the roads have to be. And there's consistent construction, and suddenly your commute becomes a daily mental battle. So if you struggle with losing control of your time like I do, as you see, this will affect your mood more than people expect. Now let's go to number 8. This is a transient city. People leave a lot. DC is transient. People come for jobs, fellowships, campaign, or school, and then they leave. You'll make friends, then watch them move away repeatedly. If rebuilding social circles drain you emotionally, then this can be tough. You have to be okay with cycles. Some friendships are intense but short-lived. Others survive the distance. But permanence is not guaranteed, especially for the first few reasons I mentioned. DC is expensive. Now, number 9. DC can feel quietly judgmental. Not loud, not flashy, but observant. In DC, people mentally file you based on things like your occupation, like we mentioned earlier. But people are going to notice where you went to school, what you do, and how you speak and who you are. Comparison can happen silently. And if you're insecure, this environment will expose it. If you're grounded, it won't bother you. Confusion matters here. And DC, they have their own slang. You're going to feel totally oblivious to who they're talking about when they say Mo, Slim, or Bob. But before we get to this last point, if you made it this far in the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this to somebody who you know is moving to the city or has ambitions to move here to Washington, DC. Finally, number 10. If you can handle all this, DC can change your life. The city is diverse, intellectually stimulating, and full of opportunity, but it demands a lot from you. It demands a lot of resilience, self-awareness, and adaptability. If you thrive in intensity, ambition, and complexity, DC can accelerate your life in a few ways places can't. But if you can't, it'll feel heavy instead of empowering. So now you know what most people had to learn the hard way. DC isn't bad at all. It's just honest. It gives back what you bring to it. So before you move here or decide to stay, ask yourself honestly, can I handle this version of my life? If yes, then welcome. If no, there's no shame in choosing differently. And if you want a follow-up video breaking down who DC is perfect for, who should avoid it, and how to thrive if you stay, let me know in the comments. Because once you understand DC, it stops feeling overwhelming and starts feeling powerful. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to turn on my notification bell because I have tons of videos coming just like this for you to understand DC and all that there is to bring. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can continue to see my amazing videos talking about the nation's capital.